had the pleasure of meeting and or working with every single one of you, but you don't necessarily know one another. So today is one of the things that we're going to do is to get to know one another a little bit better. And then Catherine and Sanjana, who are the two people who we were chatting with before, are going to take over the orientation program. The other person on the screen that you see is Fran McCarrigan, and Fran is one of my right-hand people, right and left and center, I think. And Fran has been very active with the Energizing Young Voters Ambassador Program. And so she will be piping in this afternoon too with her own words. Next slide, please, Sanjana. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to start with an icebreaker. And what I'd like you to do is to tell us your name, where you go to school, if you're in school. Fran, that doesn't count for you and me. And where that is, and then what year you're in, and then one fun fact about you. And if I'll start, so my name is Dr. Pat Suplee, and I went to school at Columbia University, and that was in New York City. I am not going to tell you what year I'm in because that would be giving away my age. But one fun fact about me is that I have kayaked at both the North Pole and the South Pole. Sanjana, you're at the top of the screen for me. Why don't you go next?
My name is Sanjana. I go to school at Hillsborough High School in Somerset County, New Jersey. I'm gonna be a senior this year, so I'm a rising senior. That's really weird to say. I don't like saying that. And one fun fact about me is I'm the middle sister. I have an older sister and a younger sister.
Catherine?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Catherine, or Kat. I'm starting as a freshman at American University, hence the dorm vibes. And a fun fact about me is I'm an archery instructor.
Riley?
Hi, I'm Riley. I go to South Brunswick High School in Middlesex County, and I'm going into 11th grade. And a fun fact about me is that I have a younger sister that's going into 7th grade.
Okay, Arushi?
Hi everyone, my name's Arushi. I go to Woodbridge Academy, which is in Middlesex County, and I'm gonna be a rising senior this year. And a fun fact about me is that one of my favorite things to do in my free time is draw. Like, I love art.
No. Zach?
Hello, my name is Zach. I'm going to be a freshman starting in September at Stanford University in Stanford, California. A fun fact about me is I'm currently in a car going upstate for a last minute vacation.
Oh, didn't know the reason. That's very nice.
Yes.
I mean, Fran, you can pull up the rear and give us the same thing about you.
Hi, I'm Fran McCarrigan. I went to University of Delaware many years ago. I reside in Tabernacle, which is Burlington County, New Jersey. I live here with my husband, and my two children are off living their wonderful lives. And a fun thing about me is that my new passion is to try to learn how to make no-knead bread. And I'm going to put olives and fresh rosemary on it. And I bought the yeast, so I'm on my way. Thank you.
And I'm on my way to your house. Okay, next slide, Sanjana.
Okay, so these are just a couple of questions to kind of introduce us to each other. So we have a choice of 3 questions. The first one, what interesting classes in relation to government or history, or not, if you want to include any other classes that you've taken so far, what career or path or major you want to pursue in the future, and what you hope to get out of the ambassador program. So you can choose any of the 3 questions. Does anyone want to start us off?
Well, I'll start us off.
Okay.
So we just get a feel for it. So I guess I'll take the major / career one. I am double majoring in international relations and strategic communication. And I don't know exactly what I want to do. I think I definitely want to be a lawyer, go to law school eventually, and maybe run for office one day. So Sanjana, do you want to?
Yeah, I can go. Or yeah. An interesting class. I actually took AP Government and Politics this past year, my junior year. It was really fun because it really mirrored the work that we're doing within this organization. Because I remember one of the units talked a lot about voter participation and like gave me the terms for each thing and talked a lot about polling and things like that. And it was really interesting to see how that played out within my political extracurriculars, voter registration for this organization. So I don't know, I just thought it was really fun to learn about the informational side of it, but then also do it hands-on.
Want to ask somebody to go now? Oh, Riley, you just unmuted yourself. Go for
Yeah,
it.
I could go. So actually kind of what Sanjana said, I'm taking AP GovPol this year, so I'm excited for that. And then a career that I would want to pursue in the future, probably a lawyer and like maybe I feel like I probably would want to do something with kind of like prosecution in like DC or something.
I can go next. So in the future, I'm not entirely sure, but I was thinking something related to like healthcare equity and like public policy related to healthcare is something I want to pursue. And sort of like the social justice and like how like improving access to healthcare for minority groups is something that I want to look forward to. And this program sort of like sparked my interest in that because it's about raising awareness for social causes and to get different groups more involved and more active in the community.
Zach, you want to take it?
Sure, I'll go last. A class that I took that was really interesting was in my senior year of high school. It was like an independent study, so I was just working with one of my teachers, and I kind of like had to create the curriculum. But it was a history class about gender in pre-colonial Latin American societies. So it's like some research I'd been doing earlier in junior year, and it was really cool to explore. I really like did not get any Indigenous history education in school, so I kind of had to do all the research on my own. But it was really cool to kind of do this class with my Spanish teacher, and we read a lot of like medieval Spanish texts, and yeah, it was really fun.
That's really interesting because I'm doing the same exact thing this year. I'm taking an independent study and we're like creating curriculum together. So that's interesting.
Oh, that's so cool. What are you going to
Yeah.
study?
Um, I mean, it's not really studying anything. It's kind of just like research for the social studies supervisor and then like diversify. Like you said, there's nothing about other cultures. Our world history curriculum is very Eurocentric. So just finding more
Yeah.
diverse sources.
Yeah, ours was too, but that's really cool.
So you have a resource person there. Somebody who's been there, done that. Good. Okay, you want to go on?
Yeah. Kat, do you?
Yeah. So I know you guys have talked to Pat a bit. I think you all talked to Pat, right? All
Yes.
right, good. So you have a little bit of familiarity with our organization, but just to give you another brief overview, we are the Energizing Young Voters Institute, either Energizing Young Voters or it both work. Anyways, sorry, initiative. And it's an initiative of the League of Women Voters where which envisions a democracy where every person has the desire, right, knowledge, and the competence to participate. We come in especially with the knowledge and the competence part. Our goal is to teach students how to vote and encourage them to be confident and go vote in their elections. So we've given over 250 presentation and all in all reached over 10,000 students and 1,700 adults. We've been recognized in a University of Oregon Youth Empowerment Study, and with our involvement, we've doubled the number of youth voters across New Jersey, with most of that being done during New Jersey High School Voter Registration Week. We also recently received the Powering Democracy National Award at the League of Women Voters US for 2020. So this is, I know it's a lot of like words, but Basically, our organization is dedicated to ensuring that students in New Jersey know their rights and know how to execute their rights. And at least I think we're doing a pretty good job of that. So you want to go to the next slide?
Sorry, I couldn't unmute. Okay, so this next slide is kind of just two videos showcasing the youth contributions that we've had so far. So Pat, do you want to explain the first one? Because I don't really know too much of the context behind it.
Well, I'd be happy to. One of the things that we do as an organization is go into schools and make presentations. And one of the really successful presentations that we've done, particularly this past school year, and hopefully many more this coming school year, is called a voting simulation. And that takes students through every single aspect of the voting process, from registration all the way through getting the results, and how does that work in our country. The intention is to help reduce people's concern about voting for the first time, because there's research that supports the fact that a lot of people don't, for reasons that have nothing to do with knowing that voting's important. It may have to do with not having access to voting, like having to work or something like that, and they don't know what the alternatives are, or just being scared of going into that voting machine for the first time and pushing the buttons. Am I going to make a mistake? Am I going to vote for the wrong person? And all those things. So the voting simulation is designed to help remove any concerns that somebody might have about voting for the first time. The video was taken at Monroe Township High School in the spring of this year, and it gives you some import from the student's point of view as well as from the teacher's point of view, and you'll see what one of the activities that we do actually looks like when you watch it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Let me mute.
So the simulation, we actually brought in 2 voting machines from the Middlesex County Board of Elections, and the students the senior students in their health classes are first getting a presentation by our Rho Kappa board members. The presentation goes over some of the logistics about voting, how to register, how to actually vote, the different ways to vote, so that they have that knowledge so that they can be prepared for the upcoming elections.
Well, I feel like it's definitely given me a more real-life experience on what to expect when going to the voting booth. And I feel it also informed me. Like, for example, I didn't know that I could register for voting before the age of 18, which is very interesting. And I think that it's an important process to do. And I just think that it could positively impact students like me who don't really have a sense of what voting really is.
So I think the simulation is important because it is going to ease some of the anxieties around first-time voting. One of the things that we want to do is try to increase youth voter turnout. And if it's your first time to vote and you're uneasy about what the whole process is, then you're going to be less likely to actually turn up. So you might be registered. Doesn't matter if you're registered, you actually have to turn up to vote.
I noticed that Zach, who's on just audio, was actually in that video. He was one of the young people who helped to set that up and get it running and help other people go through the experience of voting. The next one is Hoying Lee, who is also one of the new ambassadors. So he would be sitting here today with you. And he is part of the advocacy program. So Zach was helping out with the voting. He's done voter registration events already. Coyne actually was passionate about an issue, and he learned how to go to Trenton to make the actual presentation in front of one of the committee hearings. Very contentious committee hearing too, I might say. So this is how he sounded when he did it.
Hey everyone, my name is Coyne, and I'm representing the League of Women Voters of New Jersey. I'm a high school student from West Windsor Plainsboro High School South, and I'm testifying here today in support of A3446, or the Freedom to Read Act. And I'm going to explain why we have to pass this bill, and we really just need to pass this bill because students across the country are being denied access to books, diverse and inclusive books that often cover controversial materials, but if we fail to pass this bill, that means that parents or certain groups, advocacy groups, who want to impose their will over students will have more power to control what our students are able to read, and that is against our democracy, that is against our educational freedom. So please support this bill.
So those are two out of the many things that you can do as a participant in the ambassadors program. Turning it back to you, Sanjana.
Yeah, okay. All right, I don't know why okay, there we go. Okay, so here's some ground rules and basically just guidelines that we want to emphasize for the ambassador program. So this basically, we'll send a document. I think we have a document with this. And this will also be included in the follow-up email, but these are just really important to pay attention to because they're important to work by. So the first thing, we want you to be able to commit about 3 to 4 hours a month for your respective committees. So right now we're meeting with the whole ambassador group, and but you also in the application form noted what specific committee that you want to join. So each committee, we're going to talk more about this later in the meeting, is going to be meeting about once a month. But apart from that once a month that you're meeting, you should have a decent amount of work to do on your own. So again, we want you to be able to commit at least 3 to 4 hours to that. The next thing, we want you to be able to attend committee meetings as scheduled, and our attendance policy is really important for this specific item. You should be able to inform the chair at least 24 hours before the meeting if there's a legitimate reason for your absence. So you can just email the chair, text the chair, whatever we decide on our form of communication, just letting them know why you're absent and which meeting you're going to be absent for. And for the second point, absence for more than 3 meetings with no communication and notification is considered grounds for removal. So we just want to stress how important it is to notify and communicate with the chair if you're going to have to miss the meeting and why you need to do so. Next, communicate within the group chat to address issues, answer questions, and have discussions with peers. We want to stress how important communication is because we've run into many obstacles in the past because of the lack of communication that we've had. So we're going to discuss this later in the meeting again about which form of communication works best for everyone and what's most easy to use. But once we decide on that, just be sure to be active in the group apart from those once a month meetings and communicate if you have questions, ask any of us if you have questions, discuss anything you want with your peers, just be active in general. And for the last point, we want to make sure that all Energizing Young Voters work remains nonpartisan and issue agnostic because, as we mentioned previously, we are an initiative of the League of Women Voters, which is a nonpartisan organization. Advocacy work is done individually with LWV support. And Pat, if you can explain that further, that would be great.
Sure. We are part of a 501c3, which is a nonprofit educational organization. We can't advocate personally. We can't advocate as an organization for an issue. But what we do is teach people how to do that. And then we say, okay, here, go talk to this person at the League of Women Voters of New Jersey, and they will help you get into Trenton. They will help you speak before the committee or something like that. And that's why you heard Hoyne say he was representing the League of Women Voters of New Jersey instead of saying, I represent Energizing Young Voters. We have to make sure that we stay completely issue agnostic in order to be able to stay as a nonprofit. So that's why.
Okay, next we're going to discuss potential leadership opportunities for ambassadors.
So, sorry, you guys are all our ambassadors, so that's kind of like the introductory level of this organization. Eventually, if you would like to, you could join as the Energizing Voters Youth Board member. So that's what me and Sandra both are. We're co-chairs of that. But there's a lot of opportunities outside of Energizing Young Voters within the League of Women Voters as well. You could join a state league program as a committee member. So those are education, government, immigration, natural resources, social policy, and women and family issues. So the way that would work is you would go online and fill out their form, and then they'll email you and connect you, and we can also reach out to League of Women Voters if that's something you're specifically interested in. You could also join a state league board committee, which is a similar process, which they have communications, development, membership, and DEI. So all of those opportunities can eventually lead to becoming a member at the board of directors for the League of Women Voters of New Jersey. It's absolutely not a requirement. I do want to put that out there, but it is something where if you are interested in further leadership opportunities within Energizing Young Voters and within the League of Women Voters, we can help you do that. So
yeah, and I just wanted to, sorry.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to take a second to further explain what the Energizing Young Voters Youth Advisory Board is. So I think you can kind of consider that like the executive committee. It's just made up of a bunch of members over the past couple of years who makes most of like the management and logistical decisions. So you can definitely, we can discuss this more in other meetings as well, become an Energizing Young Voters Youth Advisory Board member. And there's no specific term for that. You just stay on that until you can. So yeah, I just wanted to explain that a little bit more in detail.
If you have any questions about that, feel free to ask me and Sandra in the chat, or I'm going to put my email in the chat. So
yeah, and those will also be provided in the follow-up email. We also have Q&A at the end if you have any questions about anything.
Good point. I was just going to make the point that there would be question and answers at the end.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on. So this is a brief committee overview. Again, you've already seen like the brief descriptions we provided in the application form, but we're just going to explain that. Explain them a little further in detail right now.
Okay. So I'm chair of the legislative committee. So I'll walk you guys through that one. It sets our legislative agenda for the current section, and we contact elected officials to advocate for our supported legislation. Now, again, as we said previously, we cannot go directly support a piece of legislation like Intrentive, but if there's something that we're very invested in, we go through the League of Women Voters of New Jersey, and then they can help us connect with them. The majority of our bills that we look to support are with civic education and voting rights, access, and education. There's a bill currently to I'm forgetting the details of it, to promote civic education in high school. So that's something that we're very focused on promoting. But the way that works is you would go on the website we have, Legisland, you can like look it up, it's great. And we filter through the bills we want, and then we call, whether it's our representative, the representatives who introduced the bill or so forth, and encourage them to support it. We also have the education committee. Our chair is Jessica, I'm pretty sure. Yes. Okay. Sorry. Double checking.
No, it's good. It's Agnes Roach.
Oh, it's Agnes now. Right.
Yes.
Sorry. So our chair is Agnes. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here today. She has a bit of a time difference. But
Yeah.
the education, is she still in France?
She is, yes, right now, but she is coming back to Vermont, so she'll be back.
Yeah, so she'll be back in our time zone soon, but she's currently in France, so that might take a minute to get started. So the education committee is the committee that develops all the modules that we use to present to students. If you've gotten a presentation from Energizing Young Voters, it's been developed through the education committee. So that's our history of suffrage, our like how to vote, a structure, who votes, and basically they're also encouraged to present their curriculum in schools. If you obviously most of the time when we're going to schools, you guys are also in school, so it's not a requirement. But yeah, if you're interested in seeing how the presentation gets built and working, if you have any ideas for the education committee, that's where you would go. Santa.
Okay, so I'm the chair of the outreach committee. Our main purpose in that committee is to work on the social media platforms and create content that's in line with our purpose and our motive as energizing young voters. We also work very closely with other organizations, so past partners, potential partners, future partners, to support our message and communicate with them as to any information that we need from them or any projects that we want to work on them with. And also a very important part of the outreach committee as well is our voter registration campaigns. So we've decided to make that a part of the outreach committee as well. As you've heard, we've almost doubled the amount of students, we've assisted double the amount of students that are currently registered for voting. And that's a very big part of the outreach committee. So we're gonna definitely build on that. As for the DEI committee, Lily is the chair of that. She's not here either, but she will be setting up her own meetings, and she'll probably be on the follow-up email that we send as well. So the DEI committee works just very closely with all of the committees that we've already mentioned, the Legislative, Education, and Outreach Committee, to implement a diverse, equitable, and inclusive curriculum and community. We just thought it was really important to include this as a separate committee because we value those values within our organization. So yeah, those are all of our committees. Pat or Fran, do you want to add anything?
Just the one thing that I didn't remember to say when I talked about the legislative committee is when we pass people off, we can't advocate on behalf of our organization, our sub-organization, Energizing Young Voters, but you can advocate individually for the things that you care about. And that's one of the things that we help prepare you to do. And that's what the legislative committee works on as well. So.
And then I just wanted to add, all of these committees, even though they're separate committees, they are very much entrenched in one another, and they work together to achieve our common goal of, getting more people to vote. Oftentimes there will be overlap. So say the legislative committee sees something that we want to inform people on, we will talk to the outreach committee and they'll get like social media going on it and other terms. So if you're interested in multiple, definitely join them. But if you're not sure, you can definitely see how we'll work together and how the different committees operate.
Okay, moving on, we just have a couple of discussion questions to engage you guys because we've been talking at you for a pretty long time. These are the two questions you have the choice of answering. Kat, do you want to talk more about them?
Sure. So our first question is, what experience do you have educating others in civics? If you don't have any, perfectly fine. But we would just like to know if you have any and what you thought about that experience. And secondly, this kind of goes in hand. What experience do you have with voter registration and getting out the vote? Again, if you don't have any, perfectly fine, but it can be as simple as, talking to people in your community or your friends about the importance of voting. So
yeah, or like sharing a post about the upcoming election. Anything as simple as that would be fine.
I did not have any experience when I joined, so you guys are all good. Anyone want to go first? Okay, then I'm gonna call it Zach. You want to go first?
Sure. I guess experience with educating others about civics. I mean, I can touch on the citizenship class that Pat was talking about earlier that I just helped out with last week. It's something I've gotten to do. I think this is my third time leading it, and it's really one of the most like rewarding experiences that I've had with Energizing Young Voters and the League of Women Voters. I got the opportunity to work with Pat and Peggy, and another member of the League of Women Voters to deliver one of the modules, Fight for the Right to Vote, the suffrage module, to different groups of people who are in the process of naturalizing to the US. And having both, like coming from a family, both my parents are immigrants, you know, I have some personal history there and I know about the naturalization process. So it's a really rewarding experience. And I love getting to hear about what voting is like in everyone else's home countries. And yeah, I really love that experience. And it was a pleasure to be able to do it last week.
So, in terms of my experiences educating others about civics, my school is mainly a STEM focused school. So, I feel like in like among my friends and peers, like the concept of like civics is sort of not emphasized enough. But I have had the opportunity of being a part of my school's Junior State of America Club, JSA, and we've been able to debate like plenty of topics related to like just social justice, like voter rights and things like that. So I don't really have much direct experience with like voter registration advocacy and things like that, but I really do want to gain that experience and learn more about how to be more involved in that process.
And I guess I can go. Um,
Well, we still
experience.
have, I think Riley is still also not on video and she was muted.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I'm in the car. I have to work like a hospital shift. But in terms of experience I have educating others about civics, I definitely like don't have a lot. I feel like I've learned a lot personally, but I haven't necessarily had that like outreach. Like I've taken like the classes and stuff. I mean, I help run my school's model UN and stuff. So we do learn about like government in that form, but I'm kind of like looking forward to working more towards doing that. And then same thing with voter registration. Like I've definitely tried to work on educating myself, but in terms of outreach, I haven't really like had any experience with that.
It's a great start. Okay. Go.
Okay, educating others about civics. One of the reason that I joined Energizing Young Voters in the first place is because I sat through one of Pat's training sessions, and I asked her if I could edit the history of suffrage, the suffrage timeline presentation. So we were able to work on that and present that to schools, as well as we do have to talk about this, Pat, the media literacy presentation.
Yes, but that's for another meeting, Sanjana.
Yeah, that's for another meeting. Me and Sarah, one of the youth advisory board members, created that as well and piloted that to a couple of schools. And then experience with voter registration. I've held a couple of registration drives in my own school, and I've also participated in many of the league's fairs and voter registration drives where I've been able to, it's really cool just being able to interact with constituents and being able to interact with people and doing fun games to engage people in voting. One of the things we did was spin a wheel to ask questions about American government and history, and then that's how we would attract people in, and then we would give them a voter registration form as they left. So, yeah.
Catherine.
Yeah, I'll say I connected with that during the 2020 global pandemic. So there wasn't a lot during that, but more recently I have presented a couple of our modules to my own school. I've also helped run voter registration drives at my school, and I feel like I really helped by just annoying everyone I know to go register to vote. But it worked, and I've organized like times to vote, or like election day outings with a couple people. So like during the primaries, I got a large group of people and I was like, we're gonna go vote, then we're gonna go get lunch. So stuff like that, which can actually be very beneficial if you have friends or family members who are kind of on the fence about it. encouraging them to do an activity afterwards is very helpful. So do we want to?
Next.
Okay, so this is more of a elaborate description of when we're meeting and what it looks like. So Pat, thank you for this very detailed image. It paints the picture very well. But basically the way that we're gonna make this work is we're gonna do committee meetings the third Sunday of every month from 3 to 4 p.m. So all the committees are gonna meet at the same time on separate Zoom links. And the way we're gonna also make it work is we're gonna do a whole group meeting, if you can see right here. So we have our committee meetings every month, but then one of those meetings is gonna be the whole group meeting. So basically what that means is just what we have right now. So everyone's gonna come together and all the chairs are gonna share updates from their committees, and the ambassadors are just gonna work together to bring together different perspectives and different ideas. And that's how, when Kat said that there's a lot of overlap, that's how that's where that's really going to come to place. So here's the schedule of meetings. Put in the chat a thumbs up. You could react with a thumbs up if you're available on these dates, and if you're not, please put in the chat what time or day would work better for you. But we'll give you guys like 1 or 2 minutes to do that. Just put a thumbs up or put in the chat if you're available.
And we understand like some of these dates are like TBD.
Yeah.
I don't know your entire schedule yet. Like,
Yeah, I was going to suggest that you just do the next 3 months.
because
okay, and then we wanted to discuss the best form of communication. So I don't know what would work best for you guys. We've tried a lot of things within the youth advisory board, like Slack. I think I forgot. Did we try GroupMe? I feel like we tried
Yes.
GroupMe.
we tried GroupMe.
None of it has really worked that well. So we wanted to consider a form of communication that more people use frequently. For me personally, that would be anything with my phones, like WhatsApp, iMessages. So just let us know, raise your hand, put in the chat which form of communication would work for you best and which form of communication you would most likely to be active on. Because if you don't check the application, you're probably not going to see the messages that we send. So for me personally, it would be WhatsApp, but if anyone has any preference, just let us know.
If there's another messaging app that we don't know about that that you have found is very useful, feel free to shout it out as well. We are always looking for new ideas.
Yeah.
With this
Especially-
particularly, honestly.
Yeah.
You know, it may be that something different will work better in each committee too. So,
Yeah, that's true.
but we do need something that everybody is.
Yeah, just a whole.
Right now, just so you know, it's email, and I am old fashioned, and that's why it's email.
If email works for you, I love email, so we can still,
Yeah, me too.
we just want to, oh my god, we just want to give you guys an option if there's anything else that you think would work. You can also unmute and just talk.
Yeah, I would say like I've used all of them, so like personally I'm comfortable with any of them. Just I'm just like on email the most. So I guess like it would be convenient in that way since I'm just like use it more often, but yeah, I'm fine with any of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. Like I prefer email or WhatsApp because I check both of them like pretty regularly.
Okay,
Okay. And
sounds
Riley
good.
just said email too, so.
Okay, so
Okay, sounds
I-
good.
this is amazing.
That's easy. Yeah, that's easier than yeah. Because we've tried, like we've made GroupMe links, sent them out, and no one's ever joined. And I understand because GroupMe's such
This is us begging you to please respond to our emails. But
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll move on now.
The next slide's just Q&A. If you have any questions about anything we've discussed, about any potential questions, ideas, you can also contact any of us. All of our emails, me and Kat put them in the chat. You obviously have Pat's email. Fran also responded to a lot of the ambassador orientation email, so you should have her email too, but we'll include it again in the follow-up email if you have any questions you want to ask later. But if you have anything right now, please feel free to just unmute and ask us.
Well, I had a quick question about the committees. So let's say we were interested in joining, when would we need to decide by like which committee we want to be a part of?
There's no deadline. You did fill it out in your ambassador application. You selected, I believe, 2 that you'd be
Yeah,
interested.
I put 2.
So if you want to join either one of those, we can send you, you'll be on the mailing list for both. It
Oh.
You can like, it's not a hard and fast rule.
Okay.
That's the other thing. If you come to the legislative committee, maybe you come for like 2 or 3 meetings and you're like, that's not really for you, you can reach out to us and we will get you over to one of the other committees. So that's the general idea. It's not a hard and fast rule.
Also, if you want to be on both the committees at the same time, I would suggest like alternating which committee meeting that you go to each month. But that's your choice to make, and you don't have a deadline.
Okay.
So do we have any other questions at the moment? You can ask this fun question too. I don't know what those are, but we're really trying to make sure you guys feel welcomed here. It's a great community.
Yeah. If you think of anything later too, you have all of our emails. We're nice, trust me. We'll respond.
So if there's no other questions, Sandra, can you?
Yeah, that's it. That's just the end. I don't know if any closing remarks.
Well, I'll thank you so much everyone for coming today. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something. If you have any other, I keep saying this, if you have any questions, let us know. Otherwise, I hope to see you at our next meeting.
Yeah, September 15th.
And that'll be another like group meeting. So we won't have an ambassador meeting before that.
Committee meeting.
Sorry, my bad. Yeah.
Okay, and you should be able to meet with the other committee chair people there too, and they can probably give you a better, not that you didn't do a good job. That was the wrong
no, it's okay.
We kind of just read off the slide.
They told us what their committee did, and we're like, you know your committee.
Fran, do you have any closing words?
Yeah, I have a question in reference to, here we are on the 25th, and the next meeting.
So, yeah, the date's just wrong for the first one.
Yeah, so, okay. So my question, so when's the next?
September 15th from 3 to 4 p.m.
Oh, that's everybody. Okay.
Yes. And that's followed by the advisory board's meeting. So we tried to make it easy and just meet one day for both groups for them.
So what's going to be happening in the background right now before that next meeting? The committee leaders will be putting together their first orientation that they're going to conduct with all the volunteers.
I think it'll be more so like we can just send out emails and kind of open a new form of communication if it works better for members, because we do have things to do right now as well. So we'll just communicate mainly on email, and then just the next time that we're seeing everyone on Zoom is going to be September 15th.
Yeah, I was just wondering because some people might want to jump in, find out what you'd like them to do, no matter how tiny of a task it is. It's always fun to jump in, and it's very exciting. Very exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I will at least start sending you guys as soon as I have an email list. I will send you guys out the bills we are working on, and if you want to research those by yourself, feel free. But
yeah, we'll definitely follow up with a follow-up email for this meeting, as well as each committee chair will be sending out their own email with any task or just a better description of the committee.
And if anybody needs help with anything, please ask me or someone else on the team. If you want to research one of the bills, you'll be wanting to go on to the Legiscan New Jersey legislature website, so we can walk you through all that stuff. So we're here to help you along because we're all learning at the same time, and some of us know a little bit more about this or that, but it'd be my pleasure.
Well,
One of the oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, please.
I was going to say, Sanjana spoke about the social media campaign. If you aren't already on our Instagram account, please get on it and you will see the amazing work that those people are doing who are on that committee. Avery Sharfin, who is also one of the new cohort of ambassadors, is a student at University of Colorado at Boulder and is actually from Ohio, but that's where she goes to school. And she has consistently been posting about voter registration, and I am just amazed at what she's done. So that's the kind of thing that you can get involved with. And Sanjana has been a part of that too. And that committee meets every other week on a Tuesday afternoon at 5:45. And we can have you join in on that too. The other
Yeah,
thing I wanted to mention was that we talked about the connection between Energizing Young Voters and the League of Women Voters. And I want to make sure that each of the people who becomes an ambassador is actually a League member. So that was a question on your form, and we can go back and check. But if by any chance that becomes, like if you're talking to a friend or something and says, you know, I'd like to do it, but I can't afford the League of Women Voters membership thing, let me know and we will take care of it for you, because that's not something that should keep you from being engaged with the League. Okay? That's it at my end.
So if there's nothing else, we will let you take back 7 minutes. We ended early.
Thank you for coming.
Really nice to see you.
Thank you. I learned so much about what I can get involved in. Thank you so
We're
much.
excited to have you show up.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you all so much. This is a great presentation.
Okay.
Bye.
See you soon. Bye.